Accent is a program about us and our lives. Each one of us belongs to a certain ethnic group, nation, and culture. From early childhood, we learn to perceive the world with the help of our native language, customs, and traditions. As we go about our daily lives, run errands, go to work, attend school, we all become one entity. We become a society, the citizens of our country.
Hello. Hello. Today in the program Accent, we will tell you that the friendship of nations has a long history. It has neither borders nor distance. People, despite the different names of their nations, they create the compositions that are international. They remind us of the melodies of our childhood and are beloved by our parents. Today's program we will tell you about the Polish. Please see and listen. This is a Polish folk song, Slav Dziewiczka, and we know this song sung by the band Dos Mukasan, a song called Sulu Kuz that really turned to be a Kazakh folk song that everybody loves. It was 1936 when the deportation started. The Mala Raduga village people were gathered in the yard and told. According to the government decree, the Polish population of the villages nearest to the Polish border is to be moved to North Kazakhstan. And the Krenitsky last name was read aloud. They said we had 24 hours for packing up. Nobody knew about Kazakhstan and what country it is. They said the caring Soviet government will provide us with everything. We just need to join the collective farm and we will get everything and all the tools needed. They took our animals for the cattle farm, picked our children, loaded everyone to the cargo wagons with guards, and took us to the steppes. When we reached the steppes, we turned south to North Kazakhstan. This was June 24th when we arrived to the Tainsha station in North Kazakhstan.
В Степняке повернули на юг, уже на северный Казахстан. Как раз в день Ивана Купала, 24 июня, мы прибыли на станцию Таинша в северный Казахстан.
Но если говорить об истории моей семьи, то я сам родился, конечно же, здесь, в Казахстане.
I was born here in Kazakhstan, in the former Kokshetau region. There's this station called Tainsha, and it is a special one for the Polish. It is the Tainsha station that was the terminal station where the Polish were moved to from Ukraine, which joined the Soviet Union. The trains were coming every week, and then people were distributed between horse wagons and taken to the endless steppes. That's how my grandmother and grandfather got to Kazakhstan in 1936. As far as I remember from my grandfather's stories, when they were taken to the steppes, it was just the steppes for hundreds of kilometers, and several horse wagons would just stop. Set a T in the ground and write on it, point number 1. This was the place for the first settlement. They would leave their 20, 30, 50 families and keep going. Set another T, point number 2. And I even remember up until the 80s, our elder did not call the settlements by names but by points. Now there are good villages in the place of those points. And those villages have very poetic Ukrainian names, perhaps in the honor of the settlers who founded them. My mother was born in the settlement called Zilony Gai. Nearby is the village Yasnaya Polyana. Another one is Vishnyovka. People were giving the settlements the names of the places they were moved from. Today I will cook one dish called the Polish duck. The ingredients are simple and available in Kazakhstan. Almaty apples are exported to Poland in large amounts. The duck, salt, butter, and that's almost it to make the Polish duck. You need to take salt, and then butter. Then you just put 4 apples inside the duck, but the more apples, the better. Later in the oven, it will have a nice sweet taste. This is our Polish dinner. We make it a lot in the spring, as the kids love it. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees. Keep it inside for 2.5 hours, and you get very good Polish-style duck.
Это польский обед, ужин, который готовится, у нас в семье весной много таких приготовим для наших детей, они очень любят. В духовку 180 градусов, 2,5 часа, и очень вкусно, утка по-польски готова.
A legendary person that is very respected by all musicians in Kazakhstan is Alexander Zatayevich, whose name was given to one of the streets in Almaty. Zatayevich was a famous musician and he worked here in Kazakhstan. He fell in love with the country, and his true credit is that by collecting the oral folk arts, the cues, collecting the Kazakh folk melodies, he put this music into notes on paper and thus saved them for history and future generations. Zatayevich's name is forever tied with such books like 500 Songs and Cues of the Kazakh Nation and 1000 Kazakh Songs. These books were published back in the 1930s, and I know they are still kept in the Almaty History Museum, and you can read them. And there you can also find Zatayevich's personal belongings. And now when you talk to any musician from Kazakhstan, once you mention Zatayevich's name, you hear gratitude towards him as our compatriot. Every Polish region has its own traditions and costumes. Up to around 60, they differ by colors, materials, and ornaments. But what's common for all of them is the bright colors and deliberate embroidery. The Polish traditional dress is made up of white linen and sheep wool with natural color to it. The base of all costumes is the skirts, shirts, aprons, vest, girdle, and shoes, usually high-heeled, either red or green, and made out of soft leather. And the decoration of wooden, glass, coral, or amber bead necklaces are mostly red. The hats were rich and various. The dresses and all costumes were ankle-long and wide. They consisted of 5 inlays, 4 blister inlays, and 1 smooth for the front part. The belt above helped fix the pleats. The dresses were made of smooth wool of blue, red, and green colors. Sometimes they were made of striped materials with bright colors. The stripes on the material were typically red, yellow, blue, orange, green, and purple. The shirts were made of the homemade whitened linen and cotton fabric. Sometimes they had triangular shapes. The sleeves were made with gore. The sleeve bottom had cuffs that were decorated with ornaments together with the collar, and the apron could be white, black, green, yellow, or pink, decorated with embroidery, ribbons, and cagework. The vest was much more complicated. It was largely decorated with lines. Up front of the girdle was laced with green or red ribbon, sometimes with buttons or little hooks. The Polish costume had a lot of embroidery. Yuri Rutkowski is another name connected with the cultural side of Kazakhstan. It was Rutkovsky, and I think not many people know that he was the first founder of the Lermontov Russian Drama Theater. He was born in Warsaw in an aristocratic and famous family. He came to Asia and in 1933 was invited to create the new Russian Drama Theater in Almaty. It was created in 1934, the same year the first play was performed. After that, he spent all his life in Kazakhstan as he fell in love with his land. And 2 years ago, thanks to the help from the General Consulate of the Polish Republic in Almaty, the bust of the theater, founded the Polish Rutkowski, was set in the hall of the Lermontov Russian Drama Theater. Almaty, just like the whole of Kazakhstan, started getting newly created ethnical and cultural associations, and one of the first ones was the Polish Ethnic and Cultural Association. 2 of them were established, where one was the Polish Cultural and Educational Society WISE, and another one was the Polish Cultural Center of Almaty. The recent news say that just last Saturday, the 2 associations had a meeting where they decided to unite to make one Polish ethnic and cultural association called the Polish Cultural Center WISE. I think this will be good for all of us, as we will be working even better together. What is our association doing? First of all, of course, we preserve our traditions and language. We're grateful that the Polish children have the opportunity to learn our native language, at least here in Almaty. For 20 years, the Almaty School number 23 has had Polish classes. The Polish living in Kazakhstan have established a special class where they teach Polish language and Polish culture. What's special about it is the absolute tolerance children of different nationalities can study here. During the lessons, the students are submerged in the Polish atmosphere. They speak Polish, learn the poems of the Polish poets, sing folk songs and dance. The Polish folk dances are greatly diverse in music and moves. The Polish folk dance in pairs appeared several centuries ago and became popular in European countries. Since then, it has its uniqueness and beauty. One of the very first dances was Mazu. Often the Polish folk dances are in couples or masses with lots of complicated moves and positions. You have to really watch every little move. The lines should be clear, smooth, and consequent with particular plastique. They're both lyrical and easy, and rhythmical and explosive, although the way they are danced is strict and moderate. Polish folk dancing has a beautiful history, and the dances remain unchanged for several hundreds of years. These dances always attracted the attention and really deserve applauses. The Polish dance takes us to the past of this nation. Its distinctive character and beauty are really fascinating. I came to Kazakhstan in November. We went skiing in Chimbalak, and it was great. And then in spring we went hiking in the mountains. We went to Tilishki. It is a little higher than Chimbalak, and I liked it very much. Later I found out that there will be the Olympic Games, and we can go to the Nazarbayev Peak. It was the first time I went to such high mountains. I don't know how I did it, but it was wonderful. I felt so good, and people around me were so nice. Everyone was helping each other, and when we went to the peak itself, I saw such beauty. It was my first time to see such high mountains.
Я могу ответить коротко. Казахстан — это моя родина.
Well, in short, Kazakhstan is my home. I was born here, learned to walk on this land. My father's grave is on this land. I think, of course, there can't be two motherlands, but I think every bird has two wings. And my passport says Polish, citizen of Kazakhstan. I think any bird flies better with two wings.
Szanowni Państwo, bardzo serdecznie pozdrawiamy wszystkich Almatyńców, mieszkańców Kazachstanu i życzymy Wam pomyślności, zdrowia, dużo radości z życia i pokoju.
Dear people of Kazakhstan, we wish you all the best, peace, and a lot of happiness. All the best for family and children, and be in a good mood.